As you can see, my current situation and my setup isn't exactly the most desirable thing, and that's maybe why I haven't made a video in a while, because I'm still kind of crammed up. The house is taking a little bit longer than it needs to be, so we're currently just stuck in this limbo, and now everything is everywhere, and I thought, why hide it and try and make it perfect when I can show the reality of, you know, buying your first ever home. And to be honest with you, it kind of goes with the topic that I'm making today, which is freelancing right for you? So I get so many questions. Obviously, I've been a little bit inactive recently, but because of this, but I get so many questions of people saying, you know, I want to become a freelancer, blah, 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 blah. And then adding on to that of where do I start and do I like doing all the other stuff? Bye-bye. And that's a big question, is whether you like doing all the other stuff. Because to be perfectly honest with you, you don't have any other choice. If you're a freelancer, you've got to do the other stuff. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you what that other stuff is and if that is really right for the kind of career path that you want to go down. Because sometimes a lot of people like the idea of being freelance, but the actual execution of it isn't all that it's made up to be. So I'm going to start off with exactly what is freelance, because some people get confused on what that is. So basically, you're working full-time as yourself, for yourself, if that makes sense. So you choose the clients, you choose the work, you find the work, and you do the work, nothing else. And if flexibility on your hours and choosing what you do is what you want, then freelancing is a great place to start off with. Some of the benefits can be stuff like choosing your own hours, working only on the jobs that you want to work on, increased rates of pay, and also the flexibility of just doing what you love. But I will get into the downsides and more of the positives further on. But the first question that we need to answer is, what is it exactly you want to do? Do you want to do it just because you like the idea of working from home, or do you want to do it because you are passionate about the certain topic that you're doing and you know that there is work and jobs in that field of your particular set of skills? That was probably a lot longer than it needed to be. And for somebody like me who is both working as a freelancer and full-time, I can honestly probably give you a good idea of what freelance is and what normal work is. Because my full-time job is an adaptation of my freelance work, so I'm basically doing what I like anyway. But the reality is, it takes a special kind of person to really become a freelancer and become successful. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you here now. Freelancing isn't always as amazing as it seems to be. I might talk about it quite a lot in my videos, but it isn't exactly a dreamboat. And for a lot of people out there who are currently in work, it is something like a leap of faith. For me, I slowly made my way into it as I studied, I freelanced, and it was a bit of an easier process for me to do that. But for other people, it can be considered like a leap of faith. And in a future video, I will talk about how to juggle that leap of faith and make it the smallest leap that you can possible. But for this video, I want to look in is what exactly are you looking for when you're talking about wanting to become a freelancer? Whether that's just choosing your own jobs, is that something that you want to do? Is it because you like the idea of the lifestyle, because there are negatives to that too? Or is it because you just want to solely work on projects that you want to work on and feel passionate about and earn a bit more money? And just about the money thing, you can earn more money, but you can earn way less. In fact, the percentage of people that earn more money than what they would on a full-time job is considerably small. So the first point that we're going to go down is the pros of becoming a freelancer, because there are some pros. So being completely unlinked to any other company can be a brilliant feeling. You know, being the one that you only have meetings when you really need meetings, or you're meeting with a client. There's no pointlessness side to it. You only do the jobs that you really want to do. If you don't like the look of a job, or you feel like you can't do it, you can just say no. It's like a car moving past. You are your own boss. You work whenever you want, wherever you want, however you want. It's as simple as that. If you want to work nights, you can just work nights. If you want to work days, you can just work days. If you want to work a 9 to 5, which is a good idea, then you can just work 9 to 5, but you can also work throughout the day. And it's a little bit easier because you're often doing things that you like. So if I'm doing a long edit, I'm just doing a long edit. I'm not doing a long shift at a warehouse, stacking boxes and having no notoriety to it. I'm doing things that I enjoy. And often no day is the same when you're freelancing. You can be working on a gaming project, you could be working on a YouTuber's project, you could be working on a company's project. It can be completely different every single time, and that's one of the best things that I found I enjoyed about freelancing, and the reason why I still heavily freelance to this day, because sometimes if I'm feeling like I want something a little bit new, I can just accept a little bit of a new job. And not only are there just jobs about freelance video editing or something like that, you can do so many different things. You could become a video editor and then do something like I did, which is transition your freelance business into also photo and video. It's as simple as that. All you need to do is implement it. And it is one of the easiest jobs to get into. You don't need to go to job interviews and hopefully somebody accepts you. You are a freelance worker. As soon as you just start freelance working, you accept work. It's freaking great. You want more money, you just work more. There's no allotted hours. You work when you want to work. But now, ladies and gentlemen, the stuff that people seem to struggle with, and that is the cons of being a freelance video editor. All right, so the first one, psychological. Staying motivated and keeping yourself on the straight and narrow when it comes to freelance video editing. Very hard, because a lot of people, like we've seen through COVID, lockdown and stuff like that, people struggle with being by themselves for so many hours a day. People struggle to stay motivated when doing jobs. People say struggle to have a good work and life juggle, because you get some freelancers who have no lives. That's a little bit like me. And then you also get other freelancers who never work and basically it fails for them. And then also staying positive when you're feeling down. You haven't got any jobs, nobody's accepting you, and it's a bit dry. That's also quite a hard thing to do, but we'll get on to that further or in another video, we'll see. As well, the idea of work growing on trees. It's a good saying. I stole it, being open there. People think that just because you say you're a video editor, or you say you're a writer, or whatever, that work's just gonna fall on your lap. It isn't. It doesn't matter how good you are, you often have to go looking for the work. There are multiple steps you can take, like I've covered on the channel, to increase your chance of getting work, but it's a competitive scene, just like loads of people going for a single job in your local town. But the one thing is you're competing with a worldwide group of people who are all sorts of skills and prices. And so you've got to know the competition. Sometimes you can have 2 to 3 jobs all going at once. You're working like the clackers. And then also you can have an entire month where you literally don't get anything. And that's happened to me many a times. I promise you that. There's been times, and it's mainly around Christmas, when a lot of companies be like, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. And then it can be mid-year, nobody wants anything. It's tough. So you can be going from doing nearly like 20-hour days sometimes. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but I've done that. Unhealthy, but you only do it for a couple of weeks, or a week. It's easy. And now the big thing that people don't seem to get to grasps of is you've got to do everything, and that's not just the thing you enjoy doing. There are things you're not going to enjoy doing, like your accounts and your taxes. It's tough. It's horrible, it's gross, I hate it, but you've just got to do it. There's people, I see people in the comments being like, oh, I don't want to do my taxes or whatever. You have to do your taxes, or I wouldn't even bother being a freelancer. If you cannot do your taxes, or you don't want to do your taxes, don't be a freelancer. Your only other option is to pay somebody else, and it's a good option. You can pay an accountant, but it's cheaper to just do it yourself. QuickBooks, I talk about that all the time. QuickBooks sponsor me. Bloody yeah. And not only accounting, marketing, businessman or woman, an entrepreneur and a salesperson all at once. And that's just if you want to become something, for example, a video editor. You got to be all those other things, and you got to be good at them. Are you willing to do all that extra work? Are you willing to put yourself through being an entrepreneur, a businessman or woman, a financial accountant and all that crap? Are you willing to do that? Because if you are, then fantastic. Let's get started. If you're not, it's probably not the best thing for you. The next thing is once again having a thicker skin in the sense of people are going to say no a lot. People are going to say your work's crap. People are going to complain. People are going to moan, and you've just got to accept that. When you're working for a big company, a lot of the time you're just a cog in the major machine, and you don't really have to deal with a lot of that stuff. But in this, it's just you. Are you okay with that? If you are, fantastic. Proceed to the next yes. You have to be proactive in finding the next gig. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to work when you're not necessarily working? Because that's what it is. I might be doing 4 or 5 hours of video editing, but maybe for another 2-3 hours I'm doing marketing and searching for work. Are you willing to do that? There are so many mini topics inside this entire discussion, and maybe I make this into a series and do more videos on it if you guys are interested in that. It's a hard business to get into, and if you feel like you can take on all these and not feel overwhelmed and really work with yourself as a business person, you got to imagine yourself, like I said in each video, as a separate person. If you can imagine yourself as a separate person in all these roles, let's get going. I think you're ready to become a freelancer. But if you're not, maybe freelancing isn't right for you. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about options that are out there where you don't have to be a freelancer, but you can still do the jobs that you love to do. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have enjoyed this video, please support the channel by hitting like and all the other stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's helped some people out there. It feels great to come back and do another video, and I will see you in the absolute next one.
No, Pretty Caroline.